I'm Jillian.
I'm Scout.
And we are just doing our absolute best.
We're just here. Yeah, doing our best.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys might notice today is a little bit different. We have
They called in the backups. They called in the people that weren't first string, but second. And it's okay. I'm really happy to be here. I'm an outreach coordinator. I work underneath Maria. And basically doing the same thing. I don't know if she explained what she does. So I'm not yet watched the first viewing.
We technically did not explain any of our jobs. But yeah. So we have a new person here. It's very exciting. You guys are going to see a lot of new faces for the next couple of episodes. We really want to kind of include everyone. But just so you know, Maria is still here in our hearts. She also happens to be off
She's
frame.
Sitting right directly next to me, like lapdog energy.
Literally, like... So. I was staring in the back of her head, being like, Jillian, don't mess this up.
I probably will. It's okay. So today we're going to be talking about college.
Yeah, super fun.
The beginning of college. For me in specific, I know, I'm actually the young hot thing in the office. I graduated 3 months ago, so I'm fresh. I graduated high school of 2020, so I graduated during COVID and chose to go to college during COVID. You didn't have any of that?
No, I did not have any COVID. I graduated high school in 2018 and went to college in 2018.
Oh, amazing.
So I had COVID at the end of college. But
got it.
Since it's September, we also kind of just wanted to shout out to all of the new first years coming into college. We're really excited for them. Give you guys some advice, kind of talk about our experiences. I think it's nice, actually, because we kind of both have a little bit different experiences. Yeah, obviously, we're not hoping that a global pandemic happens again.
I think I'm going to more speak to my sophomore year, which I would count as my freshman.
Yeah.
But, okay, I guess I can talk about it. Well, I went to Loyola Marymount University. So did our head of marketing. So just letting you know, you get amazing jobs going there. Just kidding. Nonetheless, I actually really had a great experience. Obviously, I chose this school because I had relatives attend Loyola. And I didn't want to go far because it was COVID, but I just kind of really liked it. It was really homey. It's a stunning campus. But I genuinely will be so honest in the sense that I did not look into it that much because, again, I chose college during a global pandemic.
No, that's fair.
So I didn't have time to tour and I didn't really have time to make a lot of decisions, but I'm really, really happy with how it went. Freshman year for me was a fever dream. I feel like COVID dream, I guess. I don't know, how was your first year of college? I feel like maybe you talk about that.
Gosh, yeah. It's funny because I look back on my first year of college I feel like it's very interesting. I also weirdly did not tour my school until I applied and got in. Yeah, I just didn't really have a lot of ideas of where I wanted to go. I knew that I wanted to go to a smaller school, so I chose Whitman College. It's in Walla Walla, Washington. And so 2018 kind of just off of, I don't know, nothing. Not a global camp. There was nothing super interesting going on.
But there had to be a reason in which one you chose.
But yeah, I chose it for the small class size. I knew that I wanted to get to know my professors. So for example, basically never had a TA. Never communicated to a TA, communicated directly with my professors. That's something that I really wanted. I knew that I wanted to kind of go into some sort of political field, and I knew that we had politics. And then also I knew that they had a pretty great program of trying to create majors and stuff like that. And so it was really exciting. I very much enjoyed my freshman year. I think that something that's just funny, looking back on is I definitely first couple of weeks, I think an important thing, too, is not on purpose. I did go to school with one of my best friends from home.
Did you live with her? Was she your dorm mate? Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
no, because that was going to be my number one tip because I feel we have to start when I think of the first week of college, I think, or the first year, I think about roommates.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Dorm living. And I know this is quick to give a tip, but to all the people that are going to college with your best friends from high school, and I know I can feel the eyes rolling, but do not live with your best friend, or don't live. Honestly, I would say though, you can live with someone you went to high school with that you may not have known that well, because I actually almost did that. And I actually was originally going, before they had canceled living in the dorms, I was going to live with a girl from La Jolla. I am from San Diego and from La Jolla, and I'm from Point Loma. So we were going to live together because it was just mutual settings. Yeah. But I had really good friends going to my university, and I have a lot of friends that actually did live with their best friends, and they're no longer friends. So I just don't think it's a good tip. So if you're I need to it's going to make us sisters or it's going to make us brothers or whatever, nonetheless do not, because
No, totally
it's just
fair.
a really, there is nothing less to be said about the first year of college and how much you change. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't even recognize not only that, like my freshman year self, but especially my college senior self. Or high school senior self, sorry.
Yeah, no, you can change a lot. Yeah. We actually, like obviously we would not have been able to room together, but we even chose separate dorms. And it was under the impression that we kind of accidentally both went to the same school. We're super excited about it, but we're also under the impression of like, let's not just stick to each other the entire time. So chose different dorms. They were still kind of close to each other. But like my first couple of weeks was definitely figuring out, trying to find my group. And I did find like a really great group first semester. I will say though, like something that I kind of wanted to talk about is like with friendships along the similar lines of like making sure that you kind of, I don't know, like spread your wings and like not just like look to people that you know, but also like I actually didn't even find my group, like the people that stuck with me all throughout college until the second semester of freshman year.
I feel like that's really common. That's what a lot of people say, honestly, and I don't like think you're weird for that at all. I also feel like I found kind of different groups, but like my forever friends in like weird parts of school. I don't know if that sounds so weird to say, but like I didn't find my friends in like, I joined every club under the sun, and I worked on campus and I joined a sorority, and that was really amazing. But I found like my forever friends in my classes as well as in like the weird spots on campus. Like library, the like kind of quad area. It sounds really weird, but I feel like the place where you always meet your friends in college is where you least expect it.
Oh, 100%.
And so I encourage everyone, because I was really bad at this, and I feel like you're gonna agree with me on this, is to like really kind of try to sit by yourself places, like be that person that is the lone, and you will probably end up actually making a lot of friends. Because the biggest thing that I remember of my first year of college, and tell me if you disagree, I was incredibly lonely. It was the hardest mental year of my life, actually. And it's really, really lonely. And you find your friends in the places that you don't expect. Like my best friend I found in class. I actually asked him if he was smart or not. I literally tapped on his shoulder because I didn't study for a test. And then I sat next to him.
My best friend in college that I met second semester, first year, I met her because I just randomly started talking to her we had like a little cafe that connected our dorms together. And I met her because she was talking to people about the fact that she had just moved into an RA's dorm.
Oh, nice.
And she was living by herself, and she was like, yeah, I have a toilet. And I was like, oh my God, you have a toilet? And she's like, yeah, go look. Like, and like literally just let me go into her dorm without her because she was studying. She was like, the door's open, like go look at my toilet. Like that's how we started. And so I think that like what's really exciting is like we're talking to you guys like 2 weeks in, and I think that it's just important to recognize, because I do feel like there's so many things centered around the first 2 weeks of like meeting people, which is really great. I think it's really awesome. I just think that it's really important to, if you're one of those people who feels like you've yet to find like your people, it can happen at any time. I also agree, like my friend group expanded, changed, kind of molded all 4 years. It's very exciting to continue to kind of like meet people. And I also think classes are such a great way to meet people. Like I had really small class sizes. It's nice to meet people that either like, I think it's actually really fun to meet people in classes that don't even have to do with your major, because usually that's everyone. So you get to meet a lot of different people. But it's also fun to meet people in your major, kind of get to know them a little bit.
The first 2 weeks, like the first month, so to say, feel like speed dating, but like bachelorette bachelor style, where it's you find like, and this could just be me, I don't know if this is actually no, I know this is universal because of like everyone in my sorority in the younger years that I was around. People would like, you meet someone, like let's say I met you, and I was like, Scout is my best friend forever, we're literally gonna have like matching husbands and matching houses, and we're never separating. And it's really like weird. You never normally act like that in any other setting, but it's because like when you moved into college, you're separated from the life that you've known, you're separated from the friends that you've loved, and most times your friends that you've been around since you were in diapers. Like it's people you know your whole life, and so you feel like you crave that normalcy, you crave like, and also Instagram and social media, you see one person make a friend group on day one, and then you're like, I am the loser, and like this will follow me forever. This might just be me, but the intrusive thoughts were intrusiving, and I was like, I can't do this. I am so odd. And I feel like that's when a lot of people, like, I just remember this so much, and I remember growing up in college and so many people telling me that they felt really they needed to be really loyal to like the first 3 people that they met. Nonetheless, like if those are your first 3 people, like those are your people and I love that for you, but just don't feel like, you know,
like it
we need
has
to
to be
plan
that
everything
way.
and be so perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, again, my roommate, the first person I met at college, my roommate Lauren turned out to be one of my best friends and someone I continued to live with for 3 years. But again, like we did not. One thing about it, we had that phase where it was like, we're gonna, you know, everything is
everything
together.
is perfect.
We
Like
should
we're
buy matching
amazing.
outfits.
It's
Just,
fantastic.
we're perfect. And it's not, that's just not how college works. We grew and ebbed and flowed and have completely different friend groups and completely different lives that have continued to be friends. But that is like a rare case scenario.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I just remember that really strongly right now. That just
Yeah.
feeling of like, I felt like I had to be friends with the first person that blinked at me.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
I was
totally.
to be friends with everyone they were friends with, or I was just super odd. And
No.
that's not true, guys.
It's not true, but it's like a totally like fair feeling to have. I feel like it's very much like friendships have honeymoon phases.
Yeah, completely.
And obviously like there are some people that like even after that kind of phase is like a little bit different, you still stick with. But I think it's really important to kind of keep your options open, really like open yourself up to new things. Since we're kind of on the lines of like meeting friends, I do think it's also really fun to kind of talk about, I feel like first 2 weeks, what you can expect is kind of like classes, meeting friends, getting to know the campus, but also like it is going to be, at least for a lot of people, the first time that they have to live with someone. So we can also kind of talk about roommate situations a little bit. How was your freshman year roommate situation?
Well, since I unfortunately did not go to college my freshman year, my dorm experience was canceled.
So sophomore, I didn't even think about that.
No, it's fine. I think it's still very valid because I actually, which a lot of people are doing now, it is a new trend, and a lot of new campuses, you actually are starting to move into straight up apartments instead of dorm style living, which is, you know, a blessing, and thank you for that. But I moved into an off-campus house.
Okay.
So I lived, but I did have a roommate. I did share a room, and I shared a bathroom with just her, but then I've shared a bathroom with multiple people.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never say that I was like built to share a room. That wasn't my vibe. I just feel, but it was nice because in a weird way, the person that I did share a room with, she was like, we lived together pretty oppositely, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I woke up really extremely early in the morning and I go to bed at around 8 p.m. and she literally would wake up around noon if she could, and then would come to bed around 2. So we kind of just never really were in the room at the same time, if that makes any sense. But we also did share a house with 5 people. So in a way, I was shielded of being in my own house instead of a massive dorm, but I was immediately thrust into a lot of communal living around household appliances and that kind of thing. So I had to grow up really fast. And I also did not meet my roommate until the day she moved in, which is a universal experience.
No, very, like, what's so funny is what you're talking about right now is, I don't know if you've ever, because I know it was like a little bit different, but like when I was applying for a roommate, because like I did have kind of the normal move into a dorm, apply for a roommate. You could request roommates. I didn't really have anyone that I wanted to request. Yeah. I was not on Facebook at the time. Like everyone at Whitman was on Facebook, like talking to each other, and I was just like completely out of the loop. And so what's really interesting though is a lot of people actually say, which I don't know if this is the case, but everyone was telling me to put the opposite of myself on the roommate application because they do it compatibility wise, thinking that it's good to have the same things, but everyone's like, actually you want a roommate who you don't have the same, like,
I couldn't do that on cleanliness, so like I couldn't.
No, I mean that's totally fair, but like specifically with like lifestyles, like if you're an early morning person, they were saying don't put that, you should put that you're not, all this stuff. But I actually had a really nice experience because I mean, I lived in a classic dorm, but I specifically requested, it's called Lyman. It has a wall separation, so you both enter the same door. Yeah. But then there's a room with another door.
Oh, so you were kind of by yourself too?
So I was kind of by myself. Loved my roommate. She was so nice. Like, I feel like we had a very, like, I think it's also important to know that you don't have to become best friends with your roommate. Like, I think that's important. I always kind of felt like, and it's, I don't think we either of us offended each other that we weren't best friends.
Oh, yeah.
But we were, like, very close. Like, we would still, like, talk, hang out. Like, she, like, also was in a sport, so like she kind of had a built-in friend group.
Oh, that's so nice though, because athletes are like on a schedule, clean.
No, exactly. They've got very clean, on a schedule, gone a lot. But she was very nice. But I do think like as we kind of maybe transition a little bit, I think that it's also important to know that you don't have to be best friends with your roommate. You can actually have a really great relationship with your roommate and not be best friends. But also important to note that if you're having a bad relationship with your roommate, if something is going on that is toxic in any way, like, don't just deal with it. Like, I think people think that they have to, like, deal, like, my friend, which I don't know, I will say not the friend that it is, but one of my friends had a very toxic relationship with her roommate. She would, like, fold her clothes and, like, move things and, like, do, like, weird situation stuff. Like,
I
she would,
don't
like,
even know what I would do.
Why fold clothes? That's so...
The weirdest thing is this one friend was, like, so clean, but, like, sometimes she would have to, like, put her clothes on her bed in her hamper, like, after coming from the laundry.
Yeah.
And she was going to clean it right after, like, class. And then she would come back and they'd be, like, all folded, which is, like, weird because there's, like, items that you don't want your roommate to hold. But
the biggest roommate fight, my roommates are not going to... The biggest roommate fights that I've ever witnessed, / even, I guess, been a part of, are about laundry.
Yeah,
Laundry is a massive point of contention in college. I could not tell you why. There's no rhyme or reason. When you think about it logically and you look back on this issue, and I'm really not kidding. Every single person I knew in college had an issue with a roommate over laundry. And it's a real, most things that, like, I figured out was, my house did not observe this because we just weren't scheduling type of people and we weren't chore wheel type of people. Nonetheless, people end up always having a laundry schedule with their said roommates, being like, I am going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you can do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, whatever the heck you are feeling comfortable with. And people followed that schedule because fighting over a washer machine, having, like, a laundry basket just sitting in your common areas of living, which happens more often than not, and or missing socks or missing tank tops, missing whatever clothing items, can seriously end a friendship in college. Clothes are, for some reason, like, the highest form of currency.
No, actually, I think that's really interesting because something that I had in my college dorms is it was just, like, literally open season on clothes.
Oh, 100%.
Like, crazy.
100%.
Like, doesn't matter. Like, if your clothes have been in the washer for more than 1 minute since being done, they are on the floor. They are on top of the washer. Yeah. They are back in your hamper, which I was like, my hamper was, like, cloth, so that was just rude. Really insane. We also, like, had one time where my clothes got, like, taken out and, like, stolen.
Oh, yeah.
And then I texted the RA and I was like, my clothes are, like, not here. And, like, literally the RA, like, sent to everyone, was like, just return them. No one has to know. I walked back 15 minutes later, they're back. Isn't that crazy? I just don't know why you would also, like, steal someone's clothes. Like, I understand
college is
friends
just no rules. It's a ruthless arena. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's a ruthless arena because
of 18-year-old kids.
No, yeah, 18 to 21. I mean, it's crazy. Also, like, the thing that no one talks about in college is that this is, and you can disagree with me, but this is how I feel. College is the time where you are the most selfish that you've ever been in your entire life. And it's just the truth. Like,
definitely
your
on
world
some things,
revolves around you. And that, unfortunately, infiltrates your brain a little bit. So sometimes if you're ever sitting there your freshman year and you are just like, was everyone around me, like, raised by heathens? Like, I'm so confused what's going on. It's just like everyone is just so, the freedom is unreal.
Yeah.
The ability to choose, you're choosing not only your future, but you're also choosing how to act and how you want to get to your future. You're choosing the friends that you want to make, and you're choosing, like, your future self. And in those choices, there are a lot of minimal ones that, you know, even, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, laundry may not seem like a big deal, but at that point in time, for most kids and for people have always had their laundry either done for them or they didn't really understand, like, how it even works to share because you're in a family unit. And so now once you're on your own or with your friends, things can get a little crazy.
No, I know. It's crazy. Like, the amount of choices and just, like, options that you kind of have to make and take are very, very interesting, which I feel like transitions us perfectly to another segment in which we have to choose things.
Citlalli's Hypothetical.
Yeah, you're going to now hear a voice from an angel.
That is exactly right. So I think college is such a strange period of your life, and it's interesting to think about, like, the different periods that you're in or you have been in or you're going to be a part of. So the hypothetical for today, like, you yourself right now, would you rather go back to elementary school or jump to retirement? Like, you have no choice but to, like, you know, go back to being 8 years old or 80. Actually, I don't know if people retire. 65.
Yeah.
It's like 80 now. With the world. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I can safely say for me, elementary school.
Yeah, I feel like so too. I have a question. Would we know what we know now, or is it like blank slate again?
Do you think that would affect your choice?
I don't think it would affect my choice, but I do think it would be really interesting to relive my initial years knowing what I know now. I would make a lot of different decisions. I also think that I would finally understand, because like I feel like something that's so big, and I hate to fall into the classic category of like I just thought I was much older than what I was for so many years, and I actually do think that if I could go back knowing what I know now, I would be able to be like experience like more things, and also just not feel like I wanted to continue to like leave my childhood, which I know is such a like it's such a classic thing. I mean, also I don't want to die.
Right. Yeah,
that's another thing.
I mean, I would go back, honestly, because even if I didn't know anything differently, I feel like, I mean, let's assuming I kind of knew a little bit, I think I would try to be so much more confident in the way that I held myself growing up. And I think that that is so many kids in college, and so many kids, like the way that I look back on so many of my decisions and so many missed opportunities and so many like roads less traveled for me were because I just really didn't believe in myself. It made me act out. It made me think of myself a lot differently. And so I would love to go back and kind of almost like praise be that me in elementary school would find her voice a little bit more and find a little bit more self-support. And I feel like that is so true again when you're a freshman. It is kind of going back to elementary school in the way of finding yourself. I feel like a lot of people kind of are a little bit more like scout in the sense of like, I really wanted to leave my childhood. I'm bigger than this. I'm better than this. And a lot of people do. Like they have the confidence, and that's also good. But nonetheless, there's a lot of people like me who entered into college of like really comfortable in where they were. And I mean, at least I was comfortable in my settings. And then I came in feeling really, you know, skittish and not myself. And I wish that I could have joined college with a little bit more angst. So hopefully my elementary school would be a little...
No, that's fair.
I'd find it a little more and be a little bit more myself, I guess.
I want to jump in. Sorry to cut you off. It's just this, to me, it poses another question of like, oh, you would go back and you would change things, but that would ultimately change who you are and where you are right now.
That's what I was literally about to say.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, keep going. I'm just like so excited because that's what I was thinking of, because I was like, oh, there's like one setting where like if I knew what I knew now, I could do a lot of things differently. Like I don't know why, but like there's one thing, before I kind of go on to what you said, there was one thing that I thought of, and like my mom and I have always had a good relationship. We have like such a better relationship now. I would love to be able to go back and not yell at my mom as much as I did in my teenage years. Like that's like my one thing that I would switch no matter what that would affect me on. But with that being said, I also agree, because if it was 8 years old, that's like such formative years. And if I knew what I knew now, my life would be completely different, because there are some probably big things that I would want to change. I mean, not like the big things, but then it's just awkward because then you're also trying to make sure that you don't change it enough, like do all these things, you know, like I don't know what to do. I just am not ready to be in the retirement stage of my life. I just cannot physically be there. Yeah. I also feel like, I mean, we're in a formative stage right now, but since we're college-based conversation, I mean, if I was old and retired, I'd definitely be wearing like an LMU sweater, just telling my grandkids to maybe choose there, which would be fun. Or really, honestly, one thing also I just want to talk about when you're in college is a lot of people in the first 5 months, 6 months, you might regret your decision, and you might think to yourself, why did I choose here? I don't even know. I don't remember. And I also have no idea if this is the right fit for me. And something that I would always tell people is to finish your first year and see where the cards fall at that point. And then to honestly be honest, a lot of times after your second year, you're a lot happier. Nonetheless, that is a really big issue, is transferring. And that's a lot of work. So if you're 3 months into college and you're really just unsure of yourself, you know, you still have a lot of time. No, I think that's totally fair. I think that kind of our common theme for at least kind of this podcast was just like kind of figuring out what you want, also being able to like make choices, and also being able to sit with the fact that everything might not be perfect off the bat. Obviously, if something is like not working out at all, totally fine. But I also think that's completely fair, because there is going to be, it's just the way it is when you put, I don't know, like I'm just thinking of first year, like obviously there's older people, but when you specifically put a bunch of first years that are 18 years old together right out of high school, different backgrounds, like things are going to get dramatic. And so I think that it's also very important to kind of sit with where you are. Obviously, if something is really bad, transferring is always an option. I had some people who I was friends with first year who transferred and were incredibly happy, and I still stay in touch with them.
Or go abroad. Go abroad.
Or go abroad. But definitely like try to kind of think out your decisions. Also, just have fun. I also think it's important, like, we're giving you guys so much stuff from, like, us thinking back, which is almost like Citlalli's hypothetical. Like, I don't want to give you too much information that's going to make you overthink every decision that you make.
Oh, no. College is the most fun. And
you should just, relax.
If you're listening to this, you already know that, though, because you're already there.
You're in the thick of it.
Yeah, I just feel like sometimes I feel like if you're, like, you'll know the fun in which you're having while you're there, and it'll come. But nonetheless, I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm having so much fun, but I'm also having an existential crisis. So that's why we're trying to.
And it's good to go through some mistakes too. Like giving all the advice that I have now of like, I also think it was good that maybe I wasn't doing what I'm giving my advice to do right now, because I also learned a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I think it's like you take everything with a grain of salt. But we're really excited for you guys, and we're hoping that you're having so much fun. I kind of like, I feel geriatric. Yeah. I feel sad. College was genuinely actually one of the best times of my life. I learned so much, and we're so happy for you guys. Yeah. Hopefully you don't have a global pandemic that does anything to that.
No, you're chill. I really believe in you. You're good.
So yeah, we're super happy for you guys. Really excited to start this journey. Please let us know if you guys have any insane kind of stories about your freshman year. Yeah, send them in. Put them in the comments below. We would love to hear how you guys are doing. It'd be kind of fun to get a little bit of a conversation started. Just because I also think that you can have wildly different experiences. Like how my first 2 weeks were compared to some of the people that lived in my dorms. Very different, both very fulfilling for people's lives. Yeah. So I think it'll be really exciting. Please let us know how it's going. So yeah, we're gonna transition a little bit. As you guys know, I've always wanted to live out my dream of being a Reddit reviewer on YouTube. Oh wow. All right. I don't even know that was a dream. So we're going to be doing another little segment. It's my lifelong dream, Jillian. I'm ready to listen. It's actually, I can't believe you didn't know that about me, but that's cool. I told you that many times. Just kidding.
I feel like Howard Stern.
Okay, so we're gonna do another segment of Am I? It's gonna be super fun. Okay, so this story has a couple of updates, but I'm not gonna give them to you. They are at the top, but we're gonna give you like the full story that everyone else got first, and then I'll fill you in with the updates. Okay. Am I for getting matching tattoos with my best friend after his girlfriend told me it made her uncomfortable?
Okay.
Just letting it stew. I like to pause.
No, I'm ready.
Okay, so basically I, 19F, have been best friends with Devin, in quotes, which I'm assuming means it's not a real name, but 20M since we were teenagers, around 13 to 14 years old. We have been extremely close since then, and his friendship means more to me than any other relationship in my life. Okay. When we were 16, he casually said, hey, maybe we should get matching tattoos to remind us that we're always there for each other. And I said that it sounded cool, and it wasn't really mentioned again. We were minors, so it wasn't exactly plausible. But recently, we passed a tattoo place, and I joked, remember when we were younger and we wanted to get matching tattoos, which led to a discussion leading up to us deciding that we wanted to do it for real. We took a few days to decide on the design. My friend is a graphic designer, so she made it for us. But basically, it's a light bulb shaped like a heart with the words, I'll be your light, love you always, sort of woven through the image. The light bulb thing is an inside thing between us, and we always say, I love you, so it wasn't anything off-putting. And then the day before the appointment was scheduled, Devin's girlfriend, Bianca, came up to me hysterically, saying that we couldn't go through with the tattoo. I'm assuming Devin must have told her. She didn't really give me any room to speak, but she talked a lot about how uncomfortable the idea made her. They've been in an extremely serious relationship for a while, and he is starting to consider proposal.
This is the weirdest story I've ever heard.
But I told her that I was getting the tattoo, as Devin had been an important part of my life for years and meant a lot to me, and the tattoo was our idea together, not just mine. Obviously, we went through with it, and it felt really nice for a while, until Bianca called me and started
This is so odd. I would literally be so out the door. I can't believe she stayed. Okay, sorry.
Until Bianca called me and started freaking out. Apparently, I'm a horrible person, and the tattoo is too romantic, even though it, in all caps, was not. We're just extremely close friends. I'm sure she has friends she would say I love you to. It's not a big deal. But now she's saying she wants it to be removed.
Fair.
And I really don't know what to do. Because on one hand, I don't want to be responsible for ruining Devin's relationship / possible marriage. But on the other hand, I do not want to get rid of the tattoo. I will say he can get rid of the tattoo. She can't force him. Is she like asking her?
No, but he's not going to get rid of the tattoo because he's in love with her. And that's so obvious.
Okay, that's the story.
You don't get tattoos with your friends. You just don't do that. You just don't. I'm just saying, they need to speak with someone at a higher level.
I feel like, there are some edits, but I kind of did want to get a little bit of your feelings before the edits.
As a grown woman with multiple best friends that are males and I'm obviously female, I would never dream of it. Simply would never dream of it. Yes, I have male friends that I do say love you, I love you, whatever, because I agree are massive parts of my life, some of which have been in my life since I was 2 years old or something of that nature, and some that I met recently. But nonetheless, there's other ways that you can give ode to your friendship by not getting an I love you tattoo.
No, you can get a tattoo.
Serious.
I also think that's important.
No,
I've thought about getting tattoos with my friends, some of them of which are guys.
Totally.
They were going to be something special to something, but it was not going to be I love you. That's insane.
Yeah, and I mean, to disagree with you, Dad, I would never say to get a tattoo with someone. Sometimes I think they're a little bit of a kiss of death. In some scenarios, but I definitely, I just am not a fan. I'm not a supporter, and if I were the girlfriend in this scenario, I would probably not be in the relationship anymore. So honestly, snaps to Bianca for trying to be understanding and staying with him.
I think also something that's really important, which I think I know exactly what's happening. The real person that Bianca is mad at is Devin. Obviously, though, I do think that it's important to understand that, we're not saying that guys and girls can't be friends. I'm not a firm believer on that whatsoever. No. But there is a portion of, when you are friends, you should have boundaries. And when those friends are in relationships, no matter the gender, no matter your attraction to... it just should, there should always be boundaries when it comes to, how you interfere with someone's romantic relationship, in my opinion. There's boundaries between me and my girlfriends. Yeah. There's boundaries between my girlfriends who have relationships and me. I'm not going to, get so involved or try to make my friend's significant other feel uncomfortable. That's where, in my opinion, the OP is in the wrong. Is, they're... It's not the tattoo necessarily, even though we can get into that. It's more the fact that she knew automatically that this was going to make what seems like the love of his life, but who knows, because we're a little confused. Yeah. Or seems like a girl who's super serious, she's stepping on the toes of their relationship. However, Bianca should be mad at her boyfriend because she brought up to her boyfriend that it made her uncomfortable and he still did it. That's what majority of what people are saying, is they're saying that if you're just looking at Bianca and OP, everyone sucks. If you're looking at her boyfriend, he sucks. He did not communicate this correctly.
No.
To the point where she felt she had to go up to the OP instead of him. There's just so many things. Also, tattoos are,
they're so
permanent.
Serious. No, I know.
Don't just get a tattoo without thinking it through.
Also, if you guys are really needing to, have I love you in print on each other's, bodies, don't you maybe want to have a deeper conversation about maybe some underlying feelings? But nonetheless, I don't want to jump the gun, but that's where I have a feeling.
With our initial thoughts, I will say I purposely did not tell you the edits because, I don't know, a lot of the comments also are comments without the edits, okay. So I kind of just wanted to see. But edit for random context. Devin does not want to remove the tattoo either, nor does he want me to remove it. We have never been together romantically at any point in our relationship. We've both had issues with our mental health, and we've been the only ones to help each other through it over family, other friends, partners. The light concept is because we brought light into each other's world when it felt completely hopeless. We showed each other the light.
So just get a light bulb.
Yeah, it doesn't have to say that I love you.
Yeah.
Bianca said that because I was a girl, the tattoo meant something else, and she wouldn't have cared if I were a guy. Reiterating that when we say I love you, it's completely platonic, but we've been through a lot together. How could we not love each other? I have other friends who I say it to also, maybe not as much, but it's not an exclusive thing at all. He's the same with his other friends. Also, it has meaning to us because... Also, it is meaning to us, especially me. I went through a period where I constantly felt unworthy of love and unlovable, and him being there for me and bringing me out of that mindset means a lot and will always stay with me. Edit number 2. I saw a comment that says I'm in denial about my feelings. No words. That sort of mentality is a problem. We're basically siblings. Girls and guys can just be friends. It is possible. Edit number 3. Since people are still convinced I'm in denial. So obviously she's like editing it and then time's passing and they're like, no, like you're in denial. This is the real kicker and might change your opinion completely. Edit number 3. Since people are still convinced I'm in denial, I'm lesbian. There's nothing romantic. Also, a commenter added why we did not add bro/sis after the words. We might actually do that now. It hadn't come up. So now they might say I love you, bro, which is insane.
Honestly, this doesn't change my opinion.
It doesn't change your opinion?
No.
I still think it makes the girlfriend uncomfortable, so that's still crossing a boundary.
No,
it's also weird that that's
feel
not.
Like you might not be like we're gonna run away together and get married, but there could still be very viable feelings for one another that might not be that brotherly and sisterly. And also, even if it's not, and I'm completely off base and it's all good, and they're really just platonic love, and that's which is literally so truthful. There's an underlying massive issue of just lack of awareness and also some personal boundaries in there. Also just a lot of, I don't know. It's not something that I feel as though you would do if there wasn't some type of complication. We may be off on the pulse of what the complication is. Yeah. But maybe it's something deeper than we think, and I don't.
Well, I think,
even if it's not romantic, though, I'm like, the whole point is that you're prioritizing this girl's feelings over your girlfriend's feelings, regardless of whether she's.
There's a lot of problems.
That's something that I would say.
Why can't you just have a light bulb? Like, why can't you just?
No, exactly. Because I also think it's actually what I would say actually just reminded me of this, because I read a lot of Reddit posts.
You've established that.
And something that it's actually reminding me of, which is completely a platonic relationship interfering with a romantic relationship that is still an overstepping of boundaries, is actually like mother-in-law Reddit posts.
Completely.
Like, you can still have a very weird relationship with someone, it not be romantic, but it can have a weird attachment to it. And so, like, my thing is she might not be in love with him, but it is still giving me a little bit pick-me vibes of, like, but I've known him longer than you, so you could never understand our relationship, like, even if it's not romantic. And so I think that it's more just, like, I think it's more like mother-in-law of, like, all the Reddit posts where they're like, mother-in-law, and like, she oversteps boundaries so much, she like, this is what she needs, like, she will always see him as her son, like, never my husband. And so I think it's the issue of, like, she's looking at it as like, he's my friend, not like he's also her boyfriend. But I think a lot of things need to be discussed. I also agree, like, who knows, but I do think that there could, like, what's weird about this situation is I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. I've had friends in my life that are the opposite sex.
I mean, I'm in those shoes right now, and I just wouldn't even think of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Like,
so I literally just don't
who
know.
have been through a lot with me.
Yeah, same.
I would never get a matching tattoo that said, I love you.
No, I wouldn't even get that with my brother. Like, it just wouldn't.
And
I
also,
literally
like,
have a brother, and I'm just like, we would never get tattoos that sentimental.
I have 2 brothers, and I would never, like,
no,
also,
but I'm just saying, you're saying that you're brother and sister. I'm telling you right now, me and my brother simply would never. But
to be honest, and this is completely off topic too, is like, I personally think that a light bulb tattoo would actually be a very unique tattoo, and I think that the I love you intertwined, because like what I'm thinking is I'm thinking light bulb, and you know how like light bulbs have the little wires, so the little wires are going to be I love you. That's what I'm thinking. It's giving corny.
It's giving romantic.
It's giving corny romance. It's giving, I actually wouldn't want that on my tattoo. Also, if you put I love you bro and I love you sis, I will die.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I think the big takeaway from this, is that many times in college, you and in life and in all types of walks of life, you are going to make decisions. And we want you to think through those decisions. We want you to think through it, start to finish. If you're in your first week of college, in your last week of life, it's up to you to make smart decisions that you can also live with. And a lot of times
work with yourself.
And a lot of times decisions are temporary, and in this case, decisions are permanent. And nonetheless, also, if you're in college, please do not get a tattoo with the first friend you meet.
Yeah,
because that is very popular as well. Very popular, because most times you'll be living with that tattoo and have a lot of questions. And I know many people with that story.
Oh my God. So many stories.
Yeah. But I feel like this was good, though. I feel like we had a really good convo about a lot of different things. And if you're in your first year of college, we wish you the best of luck, and you make me feel old, and also you're probably a star and killing it. And go to class and do your homework and actually go to class.
Yeah, definitely.
Really, really show up.
And just remember that we're just figuring it out. You're just figuring it out. We can try to figure it out together. But also, if you don't, that's fine too, because I have no idea what I'm doing with my life.
Yep, same. We're just doing our best.
We're just doing our best. So often. All the time.